Point guard?
Point guard.
The Phoenix Suns got a point guard? Let's talk about it next on PHNX Suns Podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the PHNX Suns Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Indeed. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ALLCITY. That's Indeed.com/ALLCITY. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. I'm Lindsay. That's Saul. That's Gerald. Welcome back, Saul. How was your vacay?
It was pretty good.
Yeah?
It was pretty good. Yeah. Actually, I got to think a lot while I was on vacation.
Because you didn't have access to your phone?
I had no internet whatsoever, so that was fun. But, you know, listen, everybody likes to say that Espo is my work wife here at PHNX, which is very true because he and I are one and the same. We work together a lot. But on this show, Lindsay, you are my show wife.
I am.
So because of that,
what did you give me a ring?
For you.
Oh my God, you guys.
that I actually got in the Caribbean.
Oh my God, it's so cute
out
though.
there. So I figured you would like that.
And it's like purple and like,
but
this is adorable. Yeah. I'm going to wear it on this finger.
Good. Hey, you wear it wherever you would like, my dear. But also, I can't leave out my man Gerald and the rest of the crew. Like, I don't want them to feel left out.
What else did we get?
While we're in Vegas, I got us, a little starter pack of cigars because I didn't know if you guys really smoke a lot of cigars or not. So
look at this.
These are Cubans that I got out there in St. Martin.
Look at this.
And I figured we would top that all off because when you're on the ship, everything's duty free. So you get a little bit cheaper. Get this big ass bottle.
What?
Of Henny.
Oh,
the NBA edition. Look how dope that is.
Now we are talking.
Gerald just locked the fuck in.
Wow. Yeah, he was ready for Vegas already.
Summer League is about to be
this
super
just took it
lit.
to a whole nother level. So, sorry, no free ads, Max, but this one is going out to the Hennessy crew. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for all of our presents.
You, Saul. Of course. We're going to enjoy that.
We appreciate it. Also, welcome everybody, all you early arrivers in the chat. Jay, Enslow, Amelia, Morty, Luis, T. We see you all. Thank you all for being here with us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and let us know how you're feeling about the Suns, because we've got a lot to talk about today, including our Desert Financial transaction of the day. Don't forget, you can get $200 in bonuses by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Shams reported that Monte Morris plans to sign a deal with the Phoenix Suns. And of course, our guy Gerald Bourguet was telling us all about this yesterday, that Monte Morris was high on the list of targets for the Phoenix Suns to bring in. And also, you've got a little bit more for us, Gerald.
Yeah, according to a source, this is a 1-year contract, and it's obviously for the vet minimum. That's all the Suns can offer. So given the salary structure for veterans, Monte Morris has been in the league for 7 years, so his deal is going to come in at $2.8 million. But it is just a 1-year deal for Monte Morris. So, yeah. We got a point guard.
Point guard. Let's go.
Monte Morris is a nice player. You know, he's a good backup. Like, if you think he's going to come in here and he's going to be a starter or try to run this team from the jump, like that's not what he's being brought in here to do. He's just here to facilitate and help these guys get from one point to another. And that's all you can want. He's as good as you were probably going to get out there. I know some people were probably looking at other options like Kyle Lowry and stuff like that, but Monte Morris is a good shooter. He's a good facilitator. And when he's healthy, he can bring a lot to a team. And I know people in Denver have a lot of admiration for Monte still to this day. And, things didn't work out last year. He was a little injured here and there. But I'm excited about this.
Right. So let's dive into that a little bit. First, by looking at his stats from last season. So in 33 games, he averaged 5 points per game, 2.1 assists per game, 1.7 rebounds, shooting 40.5% from the field and 38.6% from deep. Now, these are much lower than his total career stats, but that's because he was dealing with an injury. And he also swapped teams, moved to the Minnesota Timberwolves while he was still trying to come back from that injury and rehab. And of course, trying to reconnect with your body after an injury while also reconnecting with a new team can be tough. And he struggled to really find his spot on that squad, it felt like. So how much faith do you guys have that, well, this is what we have to go off based of last year, that he'll be able to get back to kind of his career averages?
I mean, nothing is ever certain when you're coming back from injury. But, listen, Monte has always been known as a good, solid, hard worker. His teammates have always, revered him. They've loved him. So I don't think that there's too much to worry about. If he's healthy, I think he's going to perform at a high level, probably get back closer to that 10 points a game average that he was at before. And those shooting percentages, if anything, should go up because he's going to be surrounded by guys that could just flat out shoot the rock. So I think this is a great signing. And again, when you're dealing with vet minimums, you're trying to get, Rolls Royce prices at a Kia budget. And and this is as close as you were going to get. They didn't get a Rolls Royce.
This may not be a Rolls Royce, but this is like at least a used Mercedes, but like recently used Mercedes, not old.
I would go with that.
Exactly. Yes. Right?
Yeah. No, that's great. I think this is a good signing. I know a lot of people wanted Chris Dunn. We had reported yesterday that it was kind of down to Chris Dunn, Monte Morris, and Kyle Lowry. Chris Dunn was going to be tough to get because you can't offer anything more than a vet minimum. Somebody was going to come in with an offer probably more than that. We're still waiting on details from what the Clippers agreement is going to be, but it's probably going to be more than a vet minimum. And then Kyle Lowry, you were going to have a hard time prying him from Philadelphia, his hometown team. And also, like, the guy's 38. So as much as Lowry is experienced, he would be able to run the ship, steer the ship in that regard. I like getting the guy that's 29 instead and is still a very active defender. He's really good on that end, actually. There were multiple clips that I found of him from his time in Minnesota, the number one defense in the league, where he's just harassing guys, following them, navigating screens. And in his last season with the Wizards, where he was fully healthy, he was one of the top guys if you look at ball screen navigation, on-ball perimeter defense, all these different advanced analytics that are out there. So he's going to be able to help with the point of attack defense, and he's also very good at taking care of the ball, which, as we know, was a huge concern for the second unit, for the starters, for everybody on this team. He's not a starting caliber point guard, but he is a guy that can come in and make plays, facilitate without turning the ball over.
Yeah. Bees in the chat said, this is a guy I wanted to get on this team. He does a bit of everything and specializes in playmaking. Also, still in his prime.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think the turnover thing cannot be overestimated.
Yes.
Or underestimated, however you want to put it. He takes care of the ball, and this team was averaging. Sometimes it felt like they were turning the ball over 30 times a game. Even though they never came close. It did feel like some games where you could look at this Suns team and make an argument they could have won 10 more games if they just saved about 3 to 4 turnovers a game.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So when you bring a guy like this in off the bench, he's going to be able to take care of the ball. He's going to hold other people accountable about turning over the ball too, because typically guys that don't like to turn the ball over absolutely detest if you do.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll hold them accountable. And man, I'm just hoping for the best. I think we all kind of learned a lesson last year not to get too high on some of these vet min guys.
Yes.
And this year, that's definitely the approach I'm taking. Just say, I hope it works out. I'm optimistic. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
So Meatloaf in the chat said, you could be the worst point guard ever and look good. You got Beal, Book, Durant, Grayson. OMG, let's go. Also, it's undeniable that this is an upgrade from what we had in that spot last year.
Yeah, you didn't have anybody in that spot once you traded Jordan Goodwin. Like, it was Jordan Goodwin, and then it was nobody as a backup point guard. So as much as I don't think they need a starting point guard, and they didn't really have the means to go out and get one realistically, they now have a backup who can come in. You can stagger him with the big three as they come in and out of the game. And he can play on or off the ball. That's the good thing about him. Like, he can facilitate. He can create some of his own looks, but he's also a very good catch and shoot guy. I think he shot 42% on catch and shoot threes last year. He's at around 42% for his career in that category. So he's a guy that you can spot up off the ball and he'll be able to knock down an open look. He's a guy that can run pick and roll, or you can create with the ball in his hands. So that versatility on that end is good. And defensively, same thing. Like, he actually spent some time guarding wings occasionally with Minnesota. Obviously, they have a ton of length as well around him so that he could do that. But if you have a guy that can guard 2, maybe 3 positions in a pinch, that's a good thing to have, especially on a vet minimum deal.
Adam Thompson in the chat is asking, what about him makes it seem like he's not going to be a starting caliber player, or will prevent him from being in the starting lineup? And I'm not saying that he's not going to be, but it's highly unlikely just because of size alone. You're going to be very, very small in the front court if you have him, Beal, and Book all running the 1, 2, and 3, and then you put KD at the 4, then Nurk at the 5 right now. So that's going to be a little different. So I'm going to assume there's going to be a little bit of, maybe Grayson or, maybe another big will be in that lineup to start. So I just don't see the Suns going that small right off the bat. And plus, there's going to be injuries during the season. So in those moments, he will definitely step in and probably play point. So I'm not saying he's not going to be a starter, but I just don't think he will be a starter for a majority of the lineups.
Right. We did get a super chat from Morty. Thank you, Morty. They said, Morty approves Monte. Fire emoji. Let's go. Thank you
Morty.
so much for being here. We appreciate it. Before we get to Buddha the Schizo's super chat, a couple more things on Monte Morris. The first thing is that I know, Gerald, I know you love this.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people out there love this as well.
Fantastic.
I'm hesitant to get on board with this, even though I guarantee you within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll probably be on board. But his nickname, you guys, we have to talk about his nickname.
Phenomenal. The Count of Monte Assisto.
So
assist to turnover.
Yes, which I love the idea of it. My only beef with it is that I feel like it only works in a written format. It doesn't work as well because his assists as a whole are not super high. It's the assist to turnover ratio is what we got to get conveyed here. And just saying assisto, I feel like doesn't convey that as much.
I'm just wondering when you stop being on team
Hater?
Fun. Yeah. When did you switch to team no fun?
I don't know. I think it was last season. Honestly, last season broke me and made me no fun, Gerald.
I heard the count of Monte Assisto, but then seeing it and seeing that it was a Monte Assist /TO, that's phenomenal.
It's great.
Right,
It's
that's
phenomenal.
what I'm saying. The written, it works well.
The
but
written takes it to a new level.
The spoken just is not there yet.
The spoken is good if you know what the written is.
I guess.
The only thing that I hate about this is that I didn't think of it first. That's it. That's the only thing that I have.
Oh my God. And also the other thing is it'll take up half of your character limit. Too.
It's a longer nickname, but we can work with it. Look, this guy, I think last season, he only played 33 games or whatever it was, but he had 69 assists, which is nice in and of itself, to only 7 turnovers.
Right.
That's incredible.
That's almost a 10-to-1 turnover ratio.
That's nuts. He was second in the league out of all players. He wouldn't have qualified because he didn't play enough games, but out of all players in the league, second highest assist to turnover ratio. That's a good thing for this team.
Yeah. All right. We have a super chat from Luis. Thank you. They said, remember when we got Tyler Johnson? The offense looked way better. Expecting the same from the bench with Morris running the show.
That was when they got Tyler Johnson, they didn't have a starting point guard because those were the Mike James, Isaiah Canaan days. And Tyler Johnson was a good fit just by default because you didn't have anything better. I think this is the same situation, but with the backup point guard role.
Yeah.
Wow. Tyler Johnson.
He was super nice, though.
He was such a cool guy.
I
got Tyler Johnson's story.
Do you want to share?
Yeah? I walked into, there's a spot off of, I think, Dobson and Warner or something like that. It's a majority of Asian markets. And went into a hot pot spot, and he was sitting by himself, and I had a family of 8, and I was just and he had his back to me. I was like, this one motherfucker He's all done. Like he's been done for like 15, 20 minutes. And we're just waiting. And finally he gets up and he turns around. It's like, oh, it's Tyler Johnson. Like I've literally seen him like every day the last freaking 3 months at practice. I could have just gone up to him probably and be like, hey man, you almost done?
Right?
But I didn't. He was
But
like, hey.
he was super nice.
He was cool.
He was a good dude.
He was cool.
Absolutely. All
And
right.
he got traded the next week.
Damn.
Damn.
They said you're spending too much time eating hot pot around here, okay?
Yes.
Couple more super chats here about the signing. Suns fan 303, their very first super chat ever. Welcome to the super chat squad. Said, do you think Coach Bud would have Grayson be our fifth starter or sixth man?
I truly don't know. I feel like there's a case to be made for Royce starting just because then you would have a bigger wing defensive-minded guy in the lineup without losing too much of the shooting that Grayson provides. But also, like, Bud is a Grayson guy. Like, he had him in Milwaukee. He had very complimentary things to say about him when we asked about him at his intro presser. So I don't know. I have no idea. Grayson is on the bigger contract, so it's not always about that, but something to keep in mind. And I think just because that lineup has the most experience together, that might be the default until Royce or someone else proves otherwise.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I actually think that it'll probably be more likely to be Royce just because of the size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know you guys were talking about Royce there, but that's not what a lot of people on the internet are talking about. So James sent us a super chat. Thank you, James. They said, Morris, like the signing. I know this won't happen, but I feel like he should start and move Grayson to the bench. But also, I know Nurk is a hybrid point center. Thoughts? Nurk's turnovers drive me nuts. A lot of people, so you brought up Grayson there moving to the bench in replace of Royce O'Neal, but a lot of people on Suns Twitter are wondering if you could move Bradley Beal to the bench.
Why are we still doing
instead?
Why are we
Guys,
doing this?
It is. Listen, I get the frustration, but at least let's answer the question.
You're not moving your $50 million player to the bench unless you are actively trying to run him out of town, and that's not what the Suns are going to do or are doing. So, no, Bradley Beal is not coming off the bench. I don't understand the incentive to bring him off the bench either. Like, if you're looking for shooting and scoring off the bench, Grayson. Like, do that with Grayson.
I think the incentive is so that Book can move back to playing shooting guard and just be himself. And
so you
basically, the request is to have a more true point guard.
Right, but
that's the request.
But if you're doing that, why would you have Grayson still in the lineup over Bradley Beal? Like, why are we trying to move Beal to the bench? Like, we gotta get past the fact that his contract is really a lot. Like, he's the third best player on the team.
Thank you.
He's a star. He's a great player. He didn't have a good season. He was also jostled between like 4 different roles. He was injured multiple times throughout the year, preventing him from ever gaining a rhythm. Like, he's a good player, and I hope that he stays healthy enough this season to remind people of that as they build some chemistry with that big three.
It's been a tough go for Bradley Beal in the offseason because a lot of people have been directing a lot of their ill will towards him and Nurk.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like Bradley Beal completely deserves it to the degree that he's getting it. Like, people are thinking that he's just some scrub. And to be able to juggle everything that Gerald pointed out is hard. It's not easy. And if we're going to give these guys, listen, we made excuses for these guys about only playing 30 or 40 games together. Like, why wouldn't we give Bradley Beal the benefit of the doubt in the same way, even with him having to switch roles multiple times, not even just once? So, like, he is the third best player on the team. We got to stop acting like he's some scrub, all because he's getting paid $50 million a year. You think we all give a crap? No, we're not paying it. Like, he's getting paid. That's just what it is.
Ain't my money.
Ain't my money.
I ain't worried about it.
But yeah.
So yeah, there's that. All right. Before we move on,
I've never been on board with the Beal slander. That's my guy.
Everyone
I don't care what anybody says.
wants you to tell us about your shirt. The
Oh,
chat wants to know what's
pretty
up
dope.
with the shirt and where they can get it.
So this is what I call a setup, a tease,
Oh.
because I have a different one tomorrow.
Ooh.
And the names will be in the same spots, but they'll be different names.
So for all you audio listeners, Saul is wearing a shirt that says Lindsay and Saul and Gerald and Espo and Flex.
We love it.
And we'll keep you posted on what shirt he wears tomorrow.
And I figured, why not do it on the day that, we got recognized as the best podcast in Arizona.
More coming on that one
There you go.
tomorrow. That's another teaser for you. So be sure to come and hang out with us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Before we move on, Saul, just briefly, since we are talking about Suns moves this offseason, they did add Mason Plumlee. Your thoughts on that pickup?
I love it. I was able to dabble a little bit yesterday in social and see what everybody's reactions were to it. And I think for the most part, people were excited. I think there was the few that were like, oh, he's just like Eubanks 2.0. I'm like, no, he's not. Mm-hmm. He's a much better rim protector. He's just as athletic. He's a good, solid, strong big. You needed somebody that was going to be a little bit forceful down there in the paint and that could switch and be athletic enough. And he's absolutely that guy. So I'm excited about that. Again, not too high, not too low on any of these guys. I hope they come through. I hope they contribute at a high level. And they just make this team better and more consistent more than anything else. Be consistent. And for him as a backup big, especially to Nurk, you've got to be efficient at the rim. And if he could do that this year, the Suns will find themselves in a really, really good place. If he doesn't, then we'll have some issues.
Yeah, he's another guy like Morris that he was a little banged up last year, but if he's fully healthy this year, that's a guy that could easily get back to pre-injury season form. And he's not as bouncy as he used to be. He's 34 now, but he's still a bigger lob threat than the Suns had last year. And to your point about the finishing around the rim, this is a guy the 5 seasons leading up to last year, 70% around the rim. You can absolutely live with that in a backup role.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, I do want to remind you guys that we brought in a new friend to the program. I'm talking about our friends over at Bet365, whatever the sport, whatever the moment. It is never ordinary at Bet365. I told you this yesterday, but my favorite thing about Bet365, and there's a lot of really cool things like the fact that they've got 90 million users worldwide. They live stream 780,000 events each year. Wow. But the best thing is the early payout offers. They've got them for the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, MLB. When it comes to the NBA, you get your straight bets paid out or your parlay selections marked as a winner when your team goes up by 20 points.
Okay.
When you're looking at the MLB, it's if they go up by 5 runs, you get that W too.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of that. And last year, that was something that kind of happened a few times and kind of screwed me over on a few of my
then you can
picks.
enjoy the comeback.
Exactly.
Right.
It was no, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. I don't know. But I'm really excited about welcoming our friends Bet365 to the squad. And they have 2 really cool offers for you guys. It's kind of like a pick your adventure situation here. So when you sign up with the promo code PHNX365, you can choose your offer. So you can get a bet and get offer where you place a bet of $5 or more and you get $150 in bonus bets. Or for you big time gamblers out there, your first bet safety net offer by placing a bet up to $1,000. And if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. So you kind of get to pick your adventure.
Sing it, Linz.
What?
You know what's going on the screen.
What am I singing?
Damn, she fine.
That's the best part about it, though. Is that every time you say it, that's the next obvious thing. And who doesn't love this song? I mean, let's be so honest. All right, so download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Now, just a disclaimer. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. There you go. All right, this next one I meant to ask you to read, but I forgot.
That's too bad.
Oh no!
Let's go.
Oh no!
Manscape it up.
Fellas,
do
you want your grooming routine to be a one and done deal? Well, the days of using the same trimmer for your face and your downstairs parts are over thanks to our friends at Manscaped. They have come up with the ultimate package to keep your hairs trimmed from 12 to 6. We are talking about the beard and balls feature. bundle, which features the lawnmower 5.0 and the beard hedger. So
time out.
you got a whole bunch of things.
You should never use the same trimmer for your beard and your balls.
Well, that's why they got the bundle.
I get that.
They're making sure that you are up to date.
Just want to clarify for my guys out there. You don't shave the huevos and then shave your chin, okay?
And right now, because you're a friend of the program, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping with the code SUNS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code SUNS at manscaped.com. No more juggling multiple tools or dealing with subpar results. Just efficient, effective grooming wherever you need it. Okay.
I'm sorry, but I just want to say this. I think it's far more effective for you to read those than us.
It is.
I disagree.
Because if I'm watching and I hear you saying you should trim your shit, I'm going to listen to you more than I'm going to listen to Gerald or myself or Espo.
I disagree. I think it could work either which way. It's like you're a passing of the torch too. Like if we have younger viewers, maybe. I'm just saying.
I just feel like if I didn't know anything about this and I was talking to Gerald, he's like, yeah, you should do that. I'm like, eh. Yeah. But then if my wife was like, you should do that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Just saying.
I don't know. A couple super chats here to get us into our next topic.
Moving on.
Waiting for that.
Michael said, Gerald, you were at today's introductory press conference for Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. How did they look size-wise? They seem to be very personable and articulate. Will they crack the rotation? So before we get into all of the things I said, how'd they look?
No, they're big dudes. I can't affirm they're bigger than me.
Thank God.
The measuring stick.
Yeah, they're bigger than me. 6'2" Gerald. But no, they were very personable. They were articulate. Yeah.
You're 6'2"?
Yeah.
Thinking like a good 6'5", 6'6".
Ooh, Gerald?
For Gerald, yeah, maybe 7 foot.
Oh, I thought he was 6'1".
No,
That must be the aura, you know.
Oh,
the aura.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you just say you thought Gerald was 6'5"?
I was joking.
He was
Oh, okay. I was like, Eric, what? No offense.
No, I'm not 6'5". But no, they were very personable. They were articulate. I thought they were very well spoken. They're obviously rookies, so they're still a little shy. They're going to break out of their shell as time goes along. But you can tell they already kind of have a good rapport as the two new Suns kids on the block. I think Ryan Dunn posted a photo of them. They've already been in the gym together, getting some shots up and doing some drills and stuff. They were at the Mercury game the other night as well. So it's good to see them bonding, and I think we're going to get to see more of their personality as time goes on. We didn't get a Suns rookie last year after all. We almost did with Tumani, and we haven't had one in a while. So it'll be nice to have some young blood on the team, and they do seem like very smart, very intelligent, and very committed to, like, yes, we're excited to be here, but we know that the work is just starting, and we're ready to get to it.
I wasn't there, so I have no idea.
Yeah, well, let's dive into it because we've got clips for you guys. First and foremost, here's what Ryan and Oso had to say on the draft moments.
Hearing my name called was very surreal. As a kid, my mom's probably will laugh, but I used to wear a suit when I was young and watch it on TV and dream walking across that stage and shaking my mom's hand. So to do it in real time at this time, it was kind of a surreal moment, but it hasn't really hit me yet that I'm really here. And I think once I suit up and start playing, I will probably hit. But it was kind of just a moment of all the hard work I've done as a kid and growing up now. But starting this chapter now, it's a lot more to go. I got to this mountain, now I got to start climbing it. So I'm excited to have that for me.
Yeah, when I heard my name, it was crazy. Just super blessed to have this opportunity and to experience that with my family and my coaching staff was super special. My mom started crying, so I almost held it in, cried a little bit, but yeah, it was super special. Really good night for sure.
They're both so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I love them already.
Yeah.
Like they've got really like precious vibes to them.
I think Oso's going to be in the running for your sweet baby angel.
I
think so.
Yeah.
Already.
Sweet baby bear. He's the sweet baby bear.
Yeah.
Hasn't even played a game yet.
Oh, we nicknamed him the bear,
Why?
by the way, because Oso means bear in Spanish.
El Oso.
So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to, he's the
so
bear. He's the
sad.
valley bear. He's the bear.
The Valley Bear.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's our bear. So there we go.
All right.
So sweet moment for both of them. Obviously excited to be here, excited to be joining the NBA absolutely committed and ready to get to work. That was a theme throughout this entire press conference. But they were asked, so this is from Oso and Ryan both. Oso was asked about the style of play that he saw in college and how that will help him transition to the league. And then Ryan was asked about the pace and space of the league opening up his game.
At Marquette, we ran a lot of NBA offense, just free-flowing, 5 out, and it was, I feel like it really prepared me to play in a system like this with a team like this. I think my playmaking and my ball skills will be really good for this team as a connector. All the scoring that is on this team, I think that someone like me that can kind of fill those gaps in between can be really effective. So I think that I'll lean on my experience at Marquette and try to bring that here for sure.
Yeah, my offense was a little bit different, more methodical, like you said, but I think, learning the pace and, getting up and down more and being more in transitional offense is going to help me a lot. Me and also our athleticism is going to help a lot with the young energy, getting up and down the floor and, just finding a role. I think that's what Virginia is about, being in your role and doing the best job in your role. So finding my role and establishing this early in the year and, learn from Kevin and Beal and everyone, the good vets and, just keep developing my game over time. So I think that's probably helped me a lot.
Man, I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a shock to a certain degree for Ryan, just because, Virginia, oh my God. I would rather stab both of my eyes out with a dull-ass pencil than watch Virginia play basketball.
Ouch.
It is super slow. It's just methodical. It is boring as hell. They D up everybody. Like, they play very solid defense. That's obviously what he's going to be all about. But I'm excited to see what kind of freedom he's going to be able to get out there. And Summer League is going to be the first opportunity we get to see that into actual action and to see him develop, really. Like, that's the biggest concern that I've had is he going to be able to develop that shot to the point where he's not going to be, a detriment to the team out there. And if he can, and he could just be consistent enough to be a threat, you don't have to be all world performer, just be enough of a threat, then the defense will take care of itself because that never leaves you. So I'm excited, but again, cautiously. I feel like that's my theme of the offseason. Cautiously optimistic.
That's fair, especially coming from last offseason. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to add to that, Gerald?
No, I think he covered it well. I do think, I'm excited to see him at Summer League. We did get confirmation from James Jones that the two rookies, as well as Jalen Bridges and Colin Gillespie, will all be at Summer League. They're excited to play there. But I'm looking forward to Dunn, just bullying people on the defensive end and getting out in transition, because as much as there are concerns about his jump shot and his offense and all this stuff, at the rim, he finished very efficiently. He's very athletic. And in transition, he's going to be able to, put those home, especially if he's getting steals or blocks and taking it the other way. So I'm excited to start to get our first taste of that in Vegas.
For all the spots that he could have landed, to be able to land with a team like the Suns and have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal on this team that are really high performing shooters, I think that can only help you, especially with Grayson on there. And as somebody pointed out, his mechanics do look good. It's just, they're not consistent enough, and that just comes with reps and time. And obviously pace has a lot to do with it. When you jack up a shot every 7 minutes playing for the University of Virginia, you're probably not going to be all that great unless you're just on a heater that night. And a heater means you made 4 shots in a game for Virginia. Cavaliers.
Well, listen, let me help you guys out, because of course he was asked about the jump shot, right? As well as the pre-draft workout. Here's what he had to say.
Ryan, I was curious about your jump shot in the pre-draft process was focused on a lot. How eager were you to get in pre-draft workouts like the one you had with Phoenix and show?
Excited. I was so excited. Just showing what I can do and how I can shoot it. That was the whole talking point of my whole draft process, because I shoot. So, not just even in Phoenix, everywhere I went, it was just, show that I can do a little bit more. And it's still improving, just more reps and more reps over and over again, just getting out there and shooting. But I'm excited, to show. So I'm grateful I did a pretty job here.
Okay, 2 things. One, I left Kellen's a question in there specifically so that you guys could see how eager he was to answer that question, that he actually cut Kellen off before he was able to finish the question because Ryan was so eager to share some thoughts and give answers around his jump shot. But after that he answered that question, another reporter followed up and asked him if he thinks that the percentages from college misrepresented what he thinks he can bring to the table. And here's how he answered that.
I'll say yes, I would say. I think it was a little bit feminine, but, I had to shoot him. So being in this league now and, having the opportunity, to be with these guys, I'm going to have to let it go. So that's my mindset right now.
So he's confident in himself that he will be able to grow and develop in that area and bring something positive to the table. I love that.
That arm ain't going to know what to do when it shoots 8 times in a game. It's going to be worn out by the second half.
You got something against
He's
Virginia?
going to be in the gym all summer.
No, listen, I have mad respect for the University of Virginia. They have a great program out there. It's just I do think that sometimes things can be a little skewed because of the system that they run. It is a very methodical, slow down system, and it's hard to be at such a high level if you're not like the most dominant player out there in that system. So that's why they hang their hat on defense. Like that's as consistent as they can be. It lets them get out there and run. That's probably why these guys are such great defenders, is because like the only time we get a chance to just get out there and run is when we steal the ball.
Right.
Otherwise, we got to walk it up again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was like survival of the fittest. We have to do this, and we're not going to get to.
I got to get my number somehow. I'm going for the steal again, coach.
No,
gosh.
but it's interesting how excited he was to talk about, like, yes, I feel like I'm a better shooter than people give me credit for. And we heard the pre-draft buzz heading into the draft about like he was impressing teams in workouts with the way that his shot looked. So I actually did get to ask James Jones in a scrum after the press conference about what he showed on the offensive end in that workout and how his shot looked. And this is what Jones had to say.
I mean, well, I think the unique thing about both of those guys is that they're talented, and they were asked to do certain things for their teams, and like they both alluded to, like being great teammates, being win first guys, they settled on their roles. And for him, his role was not to shoot threes, and so when he came in, evidently he knew that was a narrative that was surrounding him. But he shot the ball exceptionally well, shot it with confidence, and what we realized was there's still a lot of work. A lot of room for growth, but the fundamentals and the basics are there. I think you'll find with the game's best players, these guys, the more volume they have, the better they get. I have no doubt he'll be a capable and above capable shooter in the near future.
Yeah, so sorry for the angle there, but James Jones is still really freaking tall.
Yeah,
but no,
I still can.
It kind of speaks to what we had been hearing leading up to the draft, that a lot of teams were impressed with what they saw. They believe that it will get better. As Dunn said, it's still a work in progress. It's not going to happen overnight. But hopefully there is a path to him just being respectable from three, because if he is, he's going to be one of the late first round steals of this entire draft.
All right. So here's the deal. We spent a lot of time talking about his offense. Let's talk a little bit about his defense, because he is super excited as a defensive playmaker, being matched up with elite level scorers on a daily basis to push him. Look how much he lights up to this question.
That's the biggest thing I'm excited for. I'm playing against some of the best offensive scorers in the history of the game, especially right now. So going up against them day by day, I'll probably get torched a little bit there and there, but it's how it is. I'm ready for that, my ups and downs, but it will help me get ready, especially with those guys, learning from them and, having to take that into going against different players in the league. So I'm excited, for me and Oso to go up against them in practice.
Virginia players are sick. They're sick. That's all they love is defense. That's all.
Do.
I got this.
I 1,000,000% agree with him that, I could see why he would be excited, especially going up against Book and KD every day in practice. I'm tired of playing against other teams who have premier defenders that are just trying to cause havoc against our guys. It's going to be nice and a little bit refreshing, but to have somebody else different than just Josh Okogie going out there to cause havoc. Yeah. So I'm excited for the kid. I think, again, this is how he's going to stay on the court until he gets his offense up to where it needs to be. And so I hope nothing for the best for him.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens. But listen, we have a few more things to share with you from the presser. But first, let's take a peek at some of these super chats real quick. Buddha the Schizo sent us one. Thanks, Buddha. They said, how hilarious would it be if we traded Nurk to Utah for Markkanen? Not going to happen, but I would love to be there to see the look on Eubanks' face. Laughing face emoji. Buddha, be nice.
I don't even know if I would even pay attention to that because we got Markkanen. I'd be ecstatic.
Super excited.
Ain't gonna happen, but I would be ecstatic.
Yeah. Colin sent us one and they said, have y'all discussed the idea of trading Nas for Kenrich Williams? He seems to be losing his spot in the Thunder rotation. I think he'd be a great fit.
Yeah,
We've talked about him before.
We've brought him up in a couple of trades in the past. And I think that logistically does work because Kenrich Williams makes $6.6 million, which is just under what Nas makes. But if you're the Thunder, why are you doing that without some sort of pick attached? Obviously, a first rounder is not going to happen there. But would you have to give up one or two of your second rounders that you just added to do it? I'm not sure if it's a big enough upgrade for me. So I don't know.
Maybe Sam Presti is fiending. He's like, oh man, I just gave up some draft picks. I need some more.
I need them
now
back.
The Suns have a second rounder.
Yeah. I was like, just give me those draft picks. I don't care how they come, baby.
Leo sent us one. Thank you, Leo. They said sign Taurean Prince, please. Yay, nay?
So he would be a great pickup. He was one of the top. I think he was just under Nick Batum for me in terms of top free agency vet minimum guys that the Suns could possibly target. But we have to keep in mind, like, if they do intend to bring back Damian Lee and Josh Okogie, which I had been hearing was the plan, they would opt out and sign for slightly more than the vet minimum. If they do that, they're out of roster spots, assuming they're signing Ighodaro to a standard rookie contract and not a two-way. So something to keep in mind, like they're already at 13 with Ighodaro included. If they bring back Lee and Okogie, that's it.
Yeah.
So.
And there are some ways they could
let trade
some
somebody.
Other guys go or trade. Yes.
Right. They could trade like a David Roddy or a Nas Little. They could cut a David Roddy or something like that to free up a roster spot. So, yeah.
Well, you brought up Josh Okogie, so let's do Michael's super chat as well. He said Jalen Bridges over Josh Okogie. Bridges' video is very nice. Time to move on from Okogie.
In general, I'm against going against the known. And as much as Jalen Bridges is liked right now, you know what Josh Okogie brings. And so in that kind of defense, that tenacity is hard to come by in the league. As we've seen, we've only had one player like that since we lost basically Mikal Bridges. And so I get the excitement over these rookies, but, they're rookies in the second round for a reason.
Well, Jalen's on a two-way, right? Didn't we get word that he's on a two-way already?
Jalen will be on a two-way,
yeah. So you got time.
Yeah.
You can still bring back Josh Okogie and then come later on in the season. If you feel like you'd rather give that spot to Jalen Bridges, you can absolutely do that.
Right.
So you can hang on to both of them technically for now.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Before we move on to the other things, I do want to tell you guys that if you are in the market to hire, then you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. So ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent. And they don't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. And if you're a listener of this show, which you are, you will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your job more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Do you guys hate paying your cell phone bill?
Yeah.
Like I do?
Any bill. Yeah.
But specifically the cell phone bill, because I feel like sometimes you're like, why am I spending so much money on this dang cell phone? Well, if you feel that way, our friends at Mint Mobile are here to help you out with those crazy high cell phone bills. Mint Mobile will save the day because right now at Mint Mobile, all 3-month plans are only $15 a month, including the unlimited plan. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. You can bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. I know that's one of the biggest questions when you are looking into cell phone providers, right? Like, can I keep my same phone number? How do I get all my contacts over there?
Right.
Mint Mobile has made it so easy to switch, and you can find out how easy by visiting mintmobile.com/suns. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/suns. That's mintmobile.com/suns. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/suns. It is $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
The chat is wild today.
I don't even want to look at
Have
it.
they been like this the whole time I've been gone?
No. Have
No.
they?
He said, yeah.
I feel like this
guess
is
maybe
every day
not.
now.
This is our life.
Hit that like button,
All right.
chat. We love that you're
Pretty
here
funny
with
stuff,
us.
though.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Good for you, Dagoon. Good for you.
One more super chat, because I do want to see which one we're doing here. Okay. Manuel said, y'all think either rookie make the starting 5?
Not early on.
No.
Not early
I
on?
would say maybe the second half of the season if some things should unfold, but
Okay.
no.
Dunn is the only one that I think has a chance in my book, honestly, unless there's a trade or something like that, just because of the defense. If the shot is just serviceable, he could have a shot down the stretch, but I think it's more reasonable to expect like Grayson and Royce to be ahead of him in the pecking order there.
Yeah. Well, James Jones did talk about the importance of finding guys who can grow, but also chip in from the start. Here's what he said.
I mean, I think the story of the NBA is that you always want to find guys that can play the game. It's tough to learn how to play this game once you get here. So you have to have the traits. You have to have the attributes that will allow you to transition quickly. And I think for them and with this team, they're perfect matches. So they'll get a chance to compete. If they compete the right way, hopefully they push themselves and to new heights, and they push our team to new heights. But I expect them to come and compete and make us a lot more competitive this year.
Is it safe to say they and Jalen and Colin will be on the Summer League squad?
Yeah, the plan is for those guys to play. Every single one of them was like, we want an opportunity to play and show what we can do, and we're all for it.
I feel like I've been mentally trained by Gerald. Every time he says, so is it safe to say, I always feel like he's got a pun that's about to come out of his mouth.
It's fact.
So I was listening
trauma.
for the pun,
Fact.
and then it didn't happen.
You should do it one time, Gerald.
Hit him with a pun.
Yeah.
See how he reacts.
Do it.
Yep, you should.
Honestly, really though.
James, would you say having young guys that can contribute and grow at the same time is oh so amazing?
Come on, Gerald.
I'm sorry, the puns aren't done yet.
Oh, see what he did there?
All I'm saying is if we have to deal with it, at least spread the wealth.
Right,
Let us get some
right.
joy out of it too by seeing you do it to other people.
By seeing him just stare at me like I'm an idiot.
Yes, exactly.
And it's okay. You're not burning any bridges if you,
I see.
say any pun.
If you pull one out in a presser, I will walk over and put a $20 bill in your pocket.
Okay.
Fact.
So this
Gerald,
this
you've
is
asked about ice
bribery now.
cream, man.
It
You can
is.
do this.
It
okay?
is.
I did.
It
ask
has to be a
about ice
presser. It can't be like a pregame or postgame scrum. No, it has to be a
It has to
a
be
big
a
deal.
formal event.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In front of
Just
everybody.
make it
All right.
happen.
So just so
Gerald.
everybody rolls their eyes in unison together.
Yes, I want
Okay.
You
that.
remember?
full-
You remember like 30 minutes ago when you were like, "When did you get off the fun train?"
Okay.
This will get me back on it. Yeah.
All right.
You remember that?
Fair enough.
You just
you
got
go.
called
I
out.
did.
brother.
I really did. Fair enough. We're going to
Done
unite
and done.
unite the valley with my terrible pun and oppressor. There we go.
All right.
That's right, Psycho Hawk 2000. Give him the full Monty.
Oh my goodness
Gerald, come on.
gracious.
There you go.
All right. So one thing that James Jones did address, he was asked about actually drafting players this year and bringing in youth, which we have criticized him for. We'll give him credit. He did have a good answer for us.
You go into every year thinking about 2 years ahead. And so for us, over the last few years, we've been in a win now mode, and we still are in the win now mode. But our team was younger. So when your best players are 24, 25, you draft or you approach the draft a certain way. As your guys 27, 29, 30, 31, 35, you just want to have that balance. So you're always seeking a balance where you have X amount of guys under the age of 24, certain number of guys between 24 and 30, and guys 30 plus. And so this was a summer for us to be able to add multiple guys with that sub 24 and that sub 24 group. We just thought it was the right time, and those are the right guys to do it with.
See, there is a method to the madness.
I would
You
push.
buying it?
I
No?
would push back on the idea that they've always been keeping track of this ratio for under 24.
I was like, I haven't done the math, but I feel like it might not.
It sounds good in theory,
Yeah.
and at least they're pushing more towards a respectable ratio in that regard. I'll give them that.
Good for them. Good for James Jones.
You're not buying it.
Good for James Jones. If that's what he truly feels, then good for him. But I don't see it that way.
We're starting to skew younger.
Yeah.
We got
Finally.
a little bit younger.
We got
Yeah.
2 rookies.
Good.
We got a young two-way, 2 young two-ways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
They're
So
older rookies, but yeah.
the
Yeah.
final
are.
question that we will talk about from the presser today. Oso was asked if he grew up being a Suns fan, and his answer, I loved it. I thought it was funny.
I didn't really grow up a Suns fan. The Suns weren't very good when I was growing up, unfortunately. But yeah, I grew up watching a lot of LeBron James. Was my favorite player. Watched Kevin Durant, obviously. So it's to have someone like that on the team is special. And I always wanted. I like the players I would watch. I just, it was. But we're growing. We're trying to improve. Trying to win a championship now. So I'm a Suns fan now for sure.
He was trying so hard to be so polite and respectful, but also be like, low-key, y'all suck.
Does it make you feel old to know that the time he was talking about when the Suns sucked was like that last
I
decade
know,
of
right?
terrible Suns play that I was covering? We were watching.
I liked his answer.
What's up,
Does it
Saul?
make you feel bad? Do you
I-
think you should have lied?
I just, listen, I had to watch a lot of years of bad Cardinals football.
Uh-huh.
But I'm still on the train.
Yeah.
Just, embrace your hood. That's it. But no, we have to love LeBron. Yeah.
I get it. He also threw in KD too.
Mhm.
So you like LeBron and KD? Who doesn't like the superstars?
I'll be honest. I think a significant portion of our fan base was not around for those bad years because I was there at those games.
Yeah, the arena was very
I remember
empty.
how many people were there, and no disrespect to the fan base either, because those teams were hard to watch,
They were terrible.
let alone cover on a regular basis.
Yeah,
So I
terrible.
get it.
Terrible.
I get
Even
it.
the players didn't want to be there.
right,
Exactly.
right.
Quite literally.
I mean, Joggin Bender showed it.
Come on.
He said, "Get me out of here. Turnover.
Listen, I appreciate
Gone.
his honesty and how he tried very, very hard to be as polite as possible.
I just loved his sheepish
the
grin.
Mhm.
He's like, no,
Sorry, no.
no,
He's
it
like,
wasn't.
no chance.
Dagoon, really? The Akobo years? Come on, man.
Listen, Ellie,
Listen.
he was so precious.
Oh,
I got
Isaiah,
a soft spot for the precious ones.
sweet
What can I
angels.
say?
Isaiah Canaan died so Ely could walk.
Oh, man. I love that
Did he
kid.
walk?
Anyway. Gerald.
So he could exist.
I left him.
He low crawled and dragged his legs behind him.
Oh, you guys are so terrible.
He was so nice.
He
Oh
was
my
so nice.
God.
He was so nice.
Listen, y'all
Yes,
throwing
so terrible
strays
on the
at
court.
random Suns players. If y'all want to come throw strays at Gerald and Saul because they clearly deserve it, come hang out with us at our next PHNX event. We've got a whole bunch of them happening throughout the summer. We've got the pickleball tournament happening at Chicken and Pickle Saturday, July
y'all.
27th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Obviously, out at Chicken and Pickle, you guys know we love our friends at Chicken and Pickle.
Oh, man.
There's the PHNX Cardinals event. We're teaming up with True Fan Travel for an insane experience in Miami as Cardinals take on the Dolphins. You can get all the information at truefantravel.com. There's going to be a Mercury takeover happening soon as well. Tons of great events. Head over to gophnx.com. Click the events tab. And a reminder, if you become a diehard, you also get a discount on any ticketed event as well.
Y'all are wild
What
in the
is
chat
happening?
today.
John
Do I
Lure
wanna
is such a
know?
good
We
poll.
started off a chain of Suns names you have not heard in a minute.
Chat, drop Sonny Weems in there. Give us your most
Oh my
random
God.
Suns, okay?
Oh, my. Deontay Christmas is just crying.
Josh Childress.
Dear Lord. I don't even know. You guys are killing me today. I'm going to tell you about Circle K because Circle K never lets me down. It's always a win with our friends at Circle K, especially when you are sick and tired of this Arizona heat and you just need something to cool you off, whether you're looking for a Polar Pop or a Froster. Now through September 3rd at any Arizona location, you can get one for just 79 cents.
Hakeem Work looked like the Circle K logo when he would dunk.
What?
Hakeem Work?
Oh, like
he
the
looked
Circle
like
K logo?
Yeah, he would just be like...
Yeah. John Jenkins.
I mean, that's kind of fun.
There you go.
But here's the deal, you guys. If you want to save some money...
I just tore my ACL. Oh, no. My fucking knee hurts so bad. No. I'm so fucking old. It sucks. I need some Circle K in my life. I need a Froster to ice my knee.
Saul did not just tear his ACL during a fucking Circle K read,
Curse of
man.
obscure sons.
Oh my God. So
Elijah
guys,
Millsap.
As soon as I just talk about him, knee injury.
Oh my gosh,
off the
there's
bat.
so many in the
Back
chat.
to Circle K. They do have a membership program just in case maybe you accidentally tear your ACL and now you got major medical bills you got to cover. Circle K can help you save some money, you guys. You sign up for their free membership program. You save
I just said he
25
low
cents per
crawled
gallon.
and his legs didn't work and now my fucking
On
legs
your
don't work and
first
I'm about to low crawl out of here.
This karma, like instantly.
For real.
You save 3 cents per gallon every single day. And plus, you get a whole bunch of other discounts and coupons in the app. So join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. So, you know what the best way is to end a day where you accidentally have torn your ACL and had to crawl out of work?
Find a new job at Indeed.
No, an ice cold beer from our friends at Four Peaks to help take the edge off. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Four Peaks has some of the best beer you can get your hands on, whether it's the Kilt Lifter, the Sun's Brew, the Wow Wheat, or their newest beer, the Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, a collab between Four Peaks and Bad Birdie. Super drinkable, the perfect companion at the tea box or in your fridge. If you are golfing, make sure you go super, super early in the morning because it's hot as you know what outside. But visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. Check them out on social at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and we ask that you please enjoy responsibly.
Ray Spalding.
All right. Should we just go through and list names? You want to do it?
I think we just
Oh,
did.
you just did it? Okay.
Josh Gray.
Gotcha. Okay. Tyler Eulis.
Horacio Lamas.
So how much do you really, like, I know we talked about if any of the guys could earn a starting spot, these young rookies, and you said probably Dunn being the most likely, but in what capacity do you think that we'll really be able to see them contribute to this team this season?
I mean, I'll say this. Last year, I didn't know much about Tamani Kamara, and I think he would have absolutely contributed to this team last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is dependent on their growth and how they really embrace the system and learn it quickly. I'm not going to put anything past Dunn. I think Dunn will contribute. To what degree, I don't know. I'm thinking like maybe 10 to 15 minutes maybe to start at max. But as the season goes along, I'm hoping that shot develops and he gets to play a little bit more. Everybody else is going to be, iffy. Oso's going to have to work. Now, the good thing about Oso is he has played in a spread out system. The pick and rolls there. If he can work on that little mid-range jump shot, then I think he can find himself a little bit of a niche to play a lot more. But there's going to be some work to be done for these guys to actually get on the court and contribute at a high level.
Yeah, I think there's a clearer path to minutes for Ryan Dunn, not just because he's the first round selection, but because like defensively they need what he provides, especially if they don't wind up bringing a Kogi back. Like you need a point of attack defender. He can be that. You need a better wing defender. He can be that as well. He can be a secondary rim protector even. He's a guy that you can use as a small ball 5 if you want to go really small just because of his athleticism, his shot blocking, the ground that he can cover so quickly. That is exactly what you need out of a small ball option there. So even though he's a rookie, even though he's going to take his lumps against NBA caliber scorers, I think he's got a clear path to minutes, especially if you don't want to put that same burden on Kevin Durant on the defensive end that he had to take on this season. So I liked Oso's path to minutes before the Mason Plumlee signing. I think with Plumlee on board, it's a little trickier for him to be able to work his way in there. But that's the thing. He's young. They're going to have time. And if there is an injury to Nurkic or to Mason Plumlee, he's a guy that is NBA ready to contribute. There's still things he's going to have to work on, like maybe blocking more shots, but he's a good perimeter switchable big, which is something that I don't think you can say about Nurk or Plumlee. So against certain matchups, if he's able to prove that he's deserving of minutes, maybe you get to a point where you need a game, you need a quarter, and you throw him out there just so that you can switch 1 through 5, that type of thing, because he does bring different things to the table than those two do.
On Entourage, they used to say if you have a big head, then you're going to be a superstar. And Oso's got a pretty big dome. He's got a pretty big body. Like I think he's going to be okay. I will say this. I think that he's a very intelligent basketball player, and I think
he's an intelligent person.
Yeah, and I think that we're talking basketball, so
yeah.
And I think he's going to be able to adapt quickly to the nuances of the game. I will say that about Oso. I do feel confident in that because sometimes that takes a little while. But if you're a cerebral player, you're going to pick up little isms here and there, and you'll be able to use that to your advantage. So, hopeful.
All right. So, a super chat here from our friend Psycho Blue. Thank you, Psycho Blue. They said Basketball Cthulhu has so many receipts he's looking forward to sharing come May.
Oh, I know what receipts those are.
We got a lot of I'm already seeing people kind of tier the West and who's in what tier, and OKC is pretty much at the top. Dallas is near the top. And the Suns are usually in like the 3rd or the 4th tier. And I do think people might have overcorrected on this team a little bit, because I know the sweep was embarrassing. I know that the big three has things to work out, and they have a new coach and new players coming in again. But I do think most of the core is intact from next season. I think we're getting a full season of Royce, which we didn't have. Hopefully we're getting a bigger sample size for the big three as well. I think this team might surprise people with how much better they are next season than the first year.
I hope so. I really hope so, because that last year sucked. It was not fun at all in any way, shape, or form. I think we had one, there's one play that I can remember last year where I was just like, I was excited. I was out of my seat, and that was the KD game winner against Chicago. Outside of that, it was just like, bro, we should be so much better than this. What are we doing out here? And it felt discombobulated on too many levels. And I hope that the guys took some time after the season to kind of rectify things, kind of reset themselves, talk to Coach Bud and make sure that they get ahead of the game and get on the same page before they even get to camp. And I feel like that is happening. I think these guys talk a lot. I'm just hopeful that we don't have the same season that we have had this year. I'm optimistic, again, cautiously. I just think that with Devin and Kevin specifically, because those guys are the faces of the franchise, they've got to do a better job of owning the team. And I felt like there was too much vagueness going on in terms of who is really the leader on this team, who's in charge out there on the court. It just felt like it was just too blah. And you can't always rely on the coach to be that guy.
No, but I do think a change in our coaching, in our head coach, and bringing in Bud will help that situation. So. And I also think that, specifically talking about the big three, I would like to think that they're going to take this a little bit personally. Like, I hope and pray that they have a little bit of Michael Jordan in them and say, and I took that personally, because this year was embarrassing for all three of them in the fashion in which they went out.
Yeah.
Right. And granted, I understand you had a lot of things you had to deal with, from injuries to trying to build continuity, this, that, and the other. But like, all three of those players are at such a level that they should take that personally. Bradley Beal especially, I know he was pissed off with the injuries and the way that literally, I think the day or two before was like, I'll be damned if I get swept.
Yeah.
And then comes back the next day and was like, well, shit.
I'll be damned, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I want to hope that they took it so personally that they're going to spend a good amount of time this offseason trying to build up their relationships with one another and the new teammates that are coming in, and Coach Bud, and hopefully make this more fun.
You know that meme where they're like, what's one opinion that you have that will have everybody coming at your throat? And it's like all the swords, right? To me, Bradley Beal is going to have a tremendous bounce back season.
I think so too.
And I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack because a lot of people do not like Bradley Beal right now, but I don't care. I've always been a Bradley Beal guy. I like his game. I just think that there was just so many things going through his head that he wasn't able to really manage and figure out because he was being asked to do something different just about every single night. And now he's going to be able to I think Coach Bud's going to simplify it a little bit more for him and not put everything on him to be as diverse a player. I think Devin Booker had a head start in that game because obviously we were asking him to play point, but he had played point a few times throughout. Right. And Bradley Beal played point too. But again, like one night he was the point, the next night he's not. The next night he's asked to be, guard the toughest offensive player on the other team. It's just a bunch of different things that I just hope that he's able to figure out and really condense and get back to who Bradley Beal really is, which is one of the best players in the game, whether you like it or not. He just is.
Yeah, and he even said it was an adjustment for him, like going from being the guy in Washington for so many years to now I have to sacrifice and kind of find where I pick and choose my spots because Kevin Durant and Devin Booker should be getting the ball more. They should be getting more shots. But I do think like he still put up 18, 5, and 4 on 50% shooting, like a career high 40-some% from three. He was very efficient despite having to sacrifice touches. So I don't know if his stats are going to leap off the page next year, but I think within the context of them finding a better balance and them taking their offense to the next level because they have more familiarity, because they know when they're going to get their spots and their looks and that type of thing. I think that could make a big difference in just making the Suns more potent.
I think the thing that I always think about is if I'm sure a lot of you have seen the clip of him talking to a bunch of AAU kids on his club basketball team, and he's talking to them about, you think you can play in the league? You got to guard me, motherfucker. Like straight up says it to these kids. And I hope he has that mentality about like, oh, you guys can try and sleep on me, but you still have to guard me. And I hope he comes in with that kind of killer mentality because if he does, he could completely flip the script. There's one game specifically last year that we had our takeover against OKC. And the Suns were in control in the fourth quarter. And then things just kind of got out of control, and OKC just methodically picked them apart and then won the game by damn near double digits when the Suns were up by double digits in the fourth quarter. That game sticks out to me so much because it was just a meltdown and nobody had control. And that's what I'm hoping everybody is really focused on is like, let's make sure that we have control this year.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're working on it. Slowly but surely, we're getting to our finalized product as far as what we'll see come next season. And then they'll be able to get in the lab a little bit more, start working with one another, working with coaches, unofficially, of course.
Right.
But it'll be exciting. That'll do it for today. Any final thoughts, you two?
Yeah, Coach said, bruh, don't expect anything positive from this team until that Beal contract is gone. This team will inevitably find a way to make us feel embarrassed. It's habitual at this point. I see where Coach's coming from, and Coach has made a lot of points that were, good and I disagreed with. But what I will say is this. I've been living this life for 44 years, and I'm numb to it. I don't even care anymore. I don't get embarrassed by them flaming out.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm more embarrassed for them.
Exactly. I think at this point in time, if you're a Suns fan and you have been for a hot minute, like we're not really, we can be embarrassed, but it's more like I'm embarrassed for you, like you said, right?
Yeah.
Like
can't give up now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what else do you got?
We've been through too much.
We've
been through too much.
We've never won a title. What is there to lose?
Saul,
another year of not winning a title? Okay.
You missed this, but yesterday I was doing research for something else, and I stumbled upon a fan forum from like 2004, and they were talking about Sean Marion's contract and how bad it was and whatever. And one of the comments was, I don't think Marion's contract is that bad, but it seems like Suns fans are only happy when they're complaining about the team. And that was in 2004, 20 years ago. So time is a flat circle.
Basically, we just need to win. We just need to win one and fix everything.
To be fair, that's every fan base.
It is.
Everybody's the exact same. If you go on to even the OKC, I'm sure there's people at the OKC Thunder are like, why would you pay Shea this much money? That's such a waste of money. Like, okay, well, what are you going to do?
You could find someone who does 90% of what he does for half the price. I'm like, where? Indeed?
Where are these
Where are
players?
you? Help us.
Oh,
Tyler
man.
Kolek would have done it.
Oh, no.
No, he wouldn't have.
All right. See you guys later. Thanks for being here with us. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you're here with on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Suns. You can also follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. And you can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget.
I'll take it. If you thought we were done with the puns, I have one that is oh so sweet. It's the Count of Monte Assisto. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.